Lord, everybody. Praise the Lord, everybody. God is good. And worthy to be praised. You know, every time I come to the door, my heart is just blessed, you know. So when they ask for guests to stand, you know, I come to understand, you know, when I did not accept Christ in my life, see, that's when I was a guest. But when God came and saved my poor soul, what house I go into, I believe that's my neighbor's house. And if not, I'm in the wrong house. My house, I thought that I did it. So see, that's the thing is, when the family we're limiting his house. But he said, upon this rock. Somebody said there's a war going on here. So that's what the enemy wants us to be confused. And he works right in the church. He ain't worried about the world. We still want the world to take care of the situations that's going on. But until God, people. My. How y'all feel? Amen. Are you sold out? He's a wrong man. Yeah. You know what? I just been blessed. I get treated like, you know, I was right at my daddy's house. Because time I come in, they take me upstairs. You know, they treat me so well. And, you know, then my sister came in and she had church with me early this morning to get me started. You know, it's just so good to be among family. Amen. Amen. Truly, my heart is blessed. You know, and then you came and y'all just blessed me with so many, the songs, the music that filled the house and filled me. And I am just blessed right now. You know, I really enjoyed myself every time I come here. And, you know, those particular, the dance, praise to the Lord, but it just blew me away. And, you know, all that stuff is so meaningful. And the thing is, the more you walk, this walk, you know, I used to hear that when I was little. I once was young. You know, I don't say, but now I'm old, but now I'm getting old. I'm getting there. But I just didn't get that fullness of that yet. I know that's what I got head for, but I'm not worried about it. Because the same God that kept me when I was young, he's still with me. But nevertheless, God is good. You know, I have just been blessed in so many ways. You know, the enemy tried to a lot of different things in my path, especially this last year since my wife went home to be with the Lord. But God is just too good. When you know God, you know, and that's what it means. See, we say things, the same song, and we quote scriptures, but when you get to know the Holy Lord, it gets deep down on the inside. So when a storm comes, it doesn't matter. Because you know He delivered you already. God is good and worthy to be praised, you know. So that's what we need. We need to be fixed constantly. You know, constantly. You know, I was thinking about this thing as I was hearing stuff, and you know, it brought me to the ground of even in marriages. You know, we had a talk this morning, and I'm gonna get to the basics, but it's just in my heart. I'm just feeling it. And one of the concerns of what then happened since past time in our time versus the time of this time. And like I say, once personally, we believe in that the world should be the light. But God said we are the light of the world. So we can't depend on the world, you know, to get things back. You know, it is taking its course, but that we still have things to do. We are in the army. We need to grab that torch. Yes, sir. You know, I know I was one that was guilty. They had me to talk about it. Oh, not yet. I still got a lot of things I need to do. But now, if we don't grab it, who's there to grab it?
Oh, my God. My God.
I'm not here to bless. I'm just saying. And I ain't going to say at the other church, but I'm here at this church. So I'm saying what I'm saying because God got it coming from me. But my point is that we need to get more as unity to bring to get back things back on live. We have to grind. It touched me because you know the brother stated about the phones. I agree with him. There's nothing wrong with phones and technology and all the other stuff. But the thing is, as he said, if the battery goes dead, if something happened, if technology grinds we done lost all information.
Yes.
You know, I realized that my phone went off, and all of a sudden I didn't have nobody's phone number like I used to when my mom taught me how to use a phone book, and I didn't have nobody's number. So the only one I can think of is really my dad's, that I was born in that house, and that number in my own house. But I couldn't think of nobody else's number, and that made me think that, hey, we need to get back. See, the word, you can't lose that word.
That's right.
That's why I said, hide in your heart.
Yes.
So even when our minds
Come on, yes.
go away,
Yes.
that heart can still bring it to the Amen.
Hallelujah.
See, so we have to be that light for this young generation.
That's right.
You know, we can't be shying away. Because, you know, in jail, I talked to a lot of inmates, and a lot of them was young. It really broke my heart to see so many come in through the doors, and most of it is our kids, because, you know, it's like they grab buses, they go into the city and just pick up 3 loads of bus of them, and then one of them, and then so on. But nevertheless, the point is that we, you know, as I was speaking to them, they are, you know, we say what happened to them, but they actually are looking for us, for guidance, for that light that they didn't have, for that dad that they didn't have like we had, for that community of organization of village setting that they don't have. They need that, but we're so afraid of what they're going to do because they're in this game or that game. But I don't care what game they're in, because for I walk through the valley of the We got to be those soldiers that God is calling us. The war's already won. Huh? Yeah, it ain't our enemy, right? It's God's enemy. They ain't mad at us. The enemy ain't mad at us, but he's mad at God because he has saved us. And because he can't go there no longer. He just wants to destroy us or discredit us so we can't be that light. Huh? But we need to be like those Jehovah's Witnesses that we talk about so much, and get out there and tell somebody about somebody who can save anybody. Amen. Amen. She just blessed me so much this morning. Oh, my. What a mighty God we serve. Truly, give honor to Pastor Reynolds. It blew me away when he called me and gave me this honor to come once again while he's away. That's the man of his church. And, you know, it just did my heart well that he even thought of me and entrust this pulpit being over his flock to be with me. And that is I'm just grateful. I'm beyond thankful. I am grateful that he has chosen me to be here with you all. And you know, one good thing is when I told him is that, you know, that's not, you know, I'd have been a little bit, I ain't going to be awkward, but I know how the butterflies get, you know, and that's natural, you know, that basic fear. It's a natural fear, but but when you don't have nobody, you know, and somebody invites you to church, and then everybody looking at you like, why are you here? I came to a house with mostly family. That's right. So I just feel like home. That makes you feel a little better. I ain't saying I don't want to go family, because I'm going to shine my light that way, you know, but it still makes a little more comfortable. So I said, yes, sir. So it's a blessing to be among my family today. Amen. And on top, I have also my blood family, my sisters. Came in. Also my half daughter and my son with me today. And blessed as the Lord has made a way for me continuously and fully. Truly, I just thank him, and I continue to thank him. In spite of everything, he's just been good to me. He's been good to me. Amen and amen. Amen. I'm going to read a text I'll be coming from, and then I'll move from there. But I'll be coming from, if you have your Bibles with you, And stand coming from Acts 2. You see, Acts 2, 1 through 4. 2, 1 through 4. Amen. And when the day of Pentecost, everybody there, friend, I'm ready.
Amen.
Move forward.
Amen.
Amen. That's what it reads as such. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues like as a fire, and it sat upon each of them, and they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them
Yes. Yes, sir.
utterance.
Wow.
And the glory filled the house.
Yes, my God.
If I was to use a text, if you will, I would label it, Lord, fill the house.
Yes.
Glory.
Come on, preacher. Amen.
Lord, fill the house.
Amen. Amen.
Lord, fill the house. Father, thank you for this word that you have placed, oh Lord. But, oh Father, hide me behind the cross so that someone may be able to be listening and understand from my weak vessel that you will use, oh Lord, as you step forward, Lord, and come and understanding more to the truth, oh Lord, and come more to the light, not understanding that, oh, what is more about, oh Lord, that is not about us, but it's about you, oh Lord. Oh Father, we just ask that you just have your way, and most of all, that someone that might be in the dark, even here, oh Lord, because it truly can happen. There's many that are sitting right in the house, but yet they still have not given them to themselves to you, oh Lord. And you say you're standing and you're knocking on the door, oh Lord, but they still don't want to open up that door. But we want you to loosen them right today in a mighty way, oh Lord, that they may come and give their heart to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And amen. And amen. Lord, fill the house. Man, I don't know if my sisters want to give us a lecture or not.
Amen.
Praise God.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Even before the last time I was here, he did the very same. But that's what brothers do. He does it well. I'm going to attempt to sing something we haven't sung in a long time. Why?
That's all right. That's all right.
Just say we family.
That's right. That's right. That's what family does.
That's right.
Together music.
Why should I feel
My God.
discouraged?
Sing your song. Sing your song.
And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home? When Jesus is
believe because of fear, Lord. His eyes is on the sparrow.
He watches.
And I know he watches me. My God, my God. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Hallelujah.
How many of y'all know that he watches over?
Hallelujah.
No matter what you're going through,
That's
God
right.
watches
That's
over.
right. That's
You know,
right.
though my mom and dad did everything they could to bring him up in the way that I should go. We still had that moment in our lives that we still want to experiment and find out some things for ourselves. Even though they tell us that we have to do this thing, we don't want you to experience the same thing that we experience. We still have to do some things. We still go forward and do some things that we didn't get into. But it did make us more stronger as time. You know, and truly, I did everything trying to become rich. I did everything trying to feel good. And I tried every type of stuff that was just about out there. You know, and I found out it didn't do nothing but leave me more broken, more of a headache and a head. You know, when I found that Jesus came in my life. Oh, my. And he started working on me. Even when my friends started leaving because I wasn't doing the things that they did, God still stayed by me. You know, I was out in my yard, and I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I love working in the yard, pulling out different weeds, especially weeds. I hate weeds to be all in my yard, so I pulled it every day, make sure, try to get it all grass. I know we still ain't gonna get rid of all the weeds because the weeds gonna come, and the birds might drop and all the other stuff. But I'm out in this yard and I'm doing this very thing. I'm pulling the weeds, and no matter what I did, I still ended up with more weeds coming. And I turned my grass. I went and got new grass and planted that, and I looked back and more weeds still coming. And, you know, I said, what's going on? And, you know, I even called True Green, I think the name, I had to spray my grass, and that weeds still kept coming. I said, Lord, how do I get rid of the weeds? For one, he said, I will separate you to separate. But this is what he had me to do. You know, he did this. He showed me to divide, because what happened was, even though it's bad enough the birds drop a little something, the wind might blow a little something, when somebody cut their grass, that's going to blow a little something, but that's just going to lay on your grass. But what happens is when somebody else's grass is growing into your grass, it's not just laying on that grass, it's going to take root because it's rooted from their grass. So what he had me to do is cut a ditch between the two. We have to separate ourselves. See, that's what we had to do. That's what I had to do with some of the people that I was doing the drug with, because every time I went back to try to be with them as friends, they automatically, I drew it back to that weakness that I had. But when I got separated, there's a war going on. Amen. Lord, let your glory fill this place. Let your all-consuming fire fill this tabernacle and purify your heart. Surround us in this place. Want you to breathe life within us in a refreshing you. Lord, purify our heart. I didn't really get to practice it much, but it feels so much because that's what we needed. And for him to purify this house. And the thing I found out though is we spend so much time, just like we did in the marriages and separate, but we don't spend much time. You know, I spend all that time in getting engaged and all that stuff, but yet I ain't spend much time in learning my wife. As time went on, the Lord brought us together. At the beginning, we was having a lot of trouble because we spent more money and time on our honeymoon and our getting up, ready together, but we ain't spend no time and really get to know each other. And that's what we do. We start to spend too much time at the church to see what church gets bigger. I ain't saying that we should not enlarge it, but we spend so much time in getting this. Who got the better church? We don't even fellowship with church. First it was this Baptist, didn't fellowship with this, but now Baptist not fellowship with Baptist. Non-church is not fellowship with non-church. But yet they say, I build my church, there's only one church. Yes. But we have to get grounded because we spend too much time in that. But I come to understand that it's not so much about the building that we build. Right. It's the sanctuary that we live in that we need to build first. That's right. Because I don't care how big the church get, how big that building get. If it ain't start here, all you have is a lot of folks in a big church. That's all we have so much time. We got all these churches with all these clowns because wow, we so focused on let me get mine and go on home. Oh, wow. I would say the other church because I got me saying what I'm saying now. You got it. It's coming to me too. Amen. 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 Fill the house. I heard somebody mention something about imaginary spiritual mind. I'm trying to start using that structure. So on that note, I want you to kind of go with me and imagine a little bit in an imaginary spiritual mind realm as I position and present what God has given me.
Amen.
As we know, back in the time when Jesus came and did all types of miracles and healing and quite a few things as he walked the earth. There is a legend that states that after the ascension, when Jesus returned to heaven, this is after he left from walking here, as the exalted and reigning Christ, some of the angels and archangels and others of the heavenly hosts were curious about his earthly sojourn and questioned him about his accomplishments. They asked, did you find a great movement? Did you lead a great army? How many followers did you have? To which our Lord replied, I generally attracted good crowds. But I only had 12 disciples and a few friends and dedicated followers. Well, they said, if there were so few, they must have been exceptional human beings with sterling characters, persons who were leaders in their communities and successful in their career. To this, Jesus replied, actually, they were rather ordinary. A tax collector, several fishermen, just common as my dad would say, whosoever working people. One of the angels said, evidently, they must have been a very loyal group. Jesus answered, I believe they wanted to be loyal. But in my hours of crisis, one betrayed me. Another denied me. And all of them fled. And yet you expect this group to carry on your work, they asked. Yes, I do, Jesus said. Surely, they said, you have some alternate plans. You must have another group in reserve. Somewhere in the event, this one has failed. Another angel said, to which Jesus replied, I have no other group. This group is the only one that I am depending on upon because this group is my church. My brothers and sisters are as unstable and as unreliable as we are. As easily as we become discouraged or distracted, or as quickly as we become tired and ready to give up. And often as we are inclined to complain and engage in self-pity, I know I might be by myself, as stubborn as we are, the facts remain that Christ has committed and entrusted this ongoing work of the kingdom into our hands. Any casual reading of the New Testament will reveal that our Lord left his work in some shaky hands. It was left in the hand of the disciples who demonstrated time and time again that they were unworthy of it and should not be trusted with it.
Okay.
To the very end, Peter continued to leap before he looked and speak before he spoke. If the truth be told, some of us, let me go. Joe is maintaining a secret agent agenda while Thomas openly voiced his doubt. To the end, Philip continued to ask insane questions while James and John tried to plot in politics their way to the top spot in the kingdom. Yet, these were the ones who had been entrusted with the task of proclaiming salvation to the lost world. Well, tell somebody you've been entrusted. Just in case somebody didn't hurt, turn the other way and say, you've been entrusted. You've been entrusted. You've been entrusted. For we find the church that Christ left was a disappointment church. Those whom the matter called had a different conception and different expectation than he did. They had hoped that he would redeem Israel, but his teaching, complied with Calvary, had shattered their hopes. The church that Christ left was a confused church. How could Jesus allow himself to be crucified? They had seen him rebuke raging storms, cast out demons, heal the sick, and raise the dead. And they knew that he could have withstood Herod and Pilate. They knew he could have called a legion of angels to fight his battles. So why would he submit to Calvary? To Calvary. The church that Christ left was a frightening church. It was a church that hid itself behind closed doors. Now that Jesus had been crucified, what would happen to them?
Well,
Jesus had already told them that the servant was not greater than his or her master. He had already told them that if the world hated and rejected him, it would also hate and reject them. Having seen what happened to Jesus, they feared for their own lives. Here's their leader, and yet he done told them what happens to him, what happened to them. So everybody started fearing that for them. I don't know you. They started announcing different things because they feared for their lives.
Wow. Jesus.
My. Who are you leaning on? Who are you, Father?
Who are you, Father? Amen. Jesus.
saying, now that Jesus had been crucified, what would happen to them? He already told them that if the world hated and rejected him, that they would be treated the same way. So here's a church that Jesus left who was lifeless. It was a church in Rome. They had lost the physical presence of the one who was the center of their joy.
Yes.
They had lost the one who had called them from where they were and brought them together. They had lost the one who had given them life. The church that Christ left was all of this, but it was also more than this. Somebody say much more.
Much more.
The church that Christ left was also a believing, hopeful, and trusting church with all that happened to their little group, with all of the disappointments, confusion, weak fear, and everything else that came their way, their personal loss. They still believed Christ's promise. And when they thought about it, they remembered that Jesus had told them that this time would come.
This time. Wow.
Jesus told them that he would be rejected and that he would suffer and be killed. But early on that third morning, while it was still dark, Jesus rose just as he said he would. Christ has always kept his word. Sometimes all we have to go on is our experience in trusting God's word. Sometimes life circumstances and realities will contradict all that we believe. Sometimes only thing we have left is our knowledge of what Jesus has done. How he has stood by our side, fought our battles for us, and opened doors for us. But if we can remember that the Lord has always kept his promise, and that he has promised to be with us. For the Bible says he will never leave us nor forsake us. It gives us reason to keep on hoping. It gives us a little reason to keep on trusting. In him. How many of y'all trust in God? His promise will perfect in time. Sometimes we try to hurry the Lord to deliver before the proper time. Sometimes we think that the Lord has to had moved too late or after the proper time. But the Lord's always move on time. And his promise are always kept in perfect time. My mother used to tell me, he might not come when you want, but he's always on time. I used to always, I miss my mom as well as my wife, but I see those footnotes that they give you when you were little, so when you get older and things happen, those things still can surface back in. That's why, because when she had a way, I guess, to instill it into me, and she automatically knew that we needed to hide the word in our heart. So she somehow penetrated that thing through my mind where it went to my heart. So that way, when the time that came when I gave up and the world said, "Oh, you ain't gonna make it," different things was able to surface. I remember my mama praying for me, even when I was out there on that drug. I just know that prayer changes. But the one thing I found out more and more in this delivery of my wife passing that strengthens me so much and understanding, because like I say, I listen on so many songs, but the more you draw closer to him and he draws closer to you, the more it becomes more life. The stuff won't be as scary and as frightening as it would be when you know who to serve. So here we have that. I was used to wonder different things that he showed me that, me and my wife, we was in the house, And as we was talking that night before she went on home that morning, you know, one of the main things we were talking, because she was so happy that her knee replacement was successful and everything. We went to the museum in D.C. and walked around, so we happy, excited. We got on home and, you know, we made plans. We said one of the things we're going to do is, major thing we was going to do is actually spend way more time with my dad than normal, you know, and she was going to participate with me a little bit more, going to make sure that he was okay, because that's one thing about it. Parents took care of us so many years of our youth life, but then when we get old, we can't take care of them for I'm a little confused. Maybe it's with my upbringing. I just don't understand how can that be when they went and did everything from one birth to 9 years carrying you and everything else all the way up, and yet we can't even give them 1 month of our time to take care of them. In their last few years or whatever, Lord, because we don't know, they might still be here, because my dad's still here. This, well, I was going to say, you know, I take care of him. But my dad, we was looking at him. By him being 80-some years old, my wife said, okay, he's getting up there now, so we got to definitely make sure we spend more time in his last year. And, you know, we start thinking that range of that rim of we're still young and all this other stuff that's happening. And so we're planning and grinding. So that morning, after my son seen her and found her, you know, went to the bathroom, left the night, after she was there and she was going on home, you know, I was like, wow. It showed me that, here we go, ready to take care of him. And yet she goes and she's only 50-something. But let me know that it's no time frame on none of it. The good news is that I know she was not only my friend, she was not only my wife, but she was my sister in Christ. And because of that is what gives me strength. It's what gives me strength. Because of that, of her being in Christ. So I know, you know, that this is not my home. And I'm grateful, as it's been stated, that we have, that he woke us up another day. You know, I used to have my testimony that, I could be dead sleeping in my grave, but you know, as something's wrong with me dying and sleeping in my grave, because I'm not going to be sleeping in my grave for one, because it's said to be absent. See, there's so many trickeries that this enemy has thrown in our way from the body, is to be present with the Lord. See, and that's why we don't want to die. It said die daily to this flesh. See, but the word die, he got that die so fearful in our minds that now, how can we die? You know, I'm scared to die. So if you're scared to die, you're scared to die to your flesh. So that's why we feed this flesh with everything. Everything we want. We make preparation every way, time, or ground, but yet we can't. We power in our phone, make sure it's working and everything else, but yet we can't get time and power with the He wants us to get closer to him. You know, so she has really, it really has impacted me, because it showed me that it's just that, you know, and because he is the God of our salvation, you know, he said eternal life, so it can't be, you know, I used to say, I could be there, but yeah, I don't worry about that, but I'm just grateful because of this. He allowed me to get up this far. Not so much of my own, because of his goodness and his grace, that's sufficient. But because he wanted me to shine a light one more day for him, that's why I'm grateful. I'm grateful because he didn't take me when I was in my foolishness and did not know him. He gave me another chance to get to know him. That's why I'm grateful.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. So grateful. Fill the house. Yes, sir. Fill the house.
I'm grateful. Before I'm about to wrap up, but it's interesting because was coming from Acts. Now, if y'all just can, you don't have to stand on it, but if you want to, you can, you're honored. But I just want to go to real quick to Exodus. That would be Exodus 40. And let's read 34 real quick. 40, 34. Then it said, the same, it says then, it says, then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Right?
Yes, sir.
That was in Exodus. Y'all already heard what was in Acts. He's still feeling the tabernacle.
Yes.
I thought about the concept of things, you know, and I realized that here we have these followers of Christ, where they have these cathedrals and major big churches and all this stuff, and yet this particular group decided to build a portable tabernacle. And the good news was that it might have not meant a lot to others, but this particular tabernacle hosted God. It's where God dwells in this particular tabernacle. You know, and that's the thing. I come to understand that when we give our full selves to Him,
Wow.
you know, we give Him as let Him be our Savior to come and save us. But He wants to go more deeper than being our Savior. He wants to be our Lord of our life.
Yes, yes.
No matter what it is that you're faced with, I said turn it all over to Jesus.
Yes, yes.
And He will make a way
Yes, He
for
will.
you. You know, so here we have made this tabernacle, portable tabernacle for Him to dwell in. And in spite of them going through their situations, their storms, their life valleys that they swirled through to the bottom and hit the bottom deck and didn't know where to turn. In spite of all of what they've been through, they still decided to build Him a tabernacle. You know, and I come to understand, no matter what storm that came my way, no matter what goes on and seems impossible, that we serve a God that is able. You know, and because I'm just a stranger here,
Just a stranger here.
you know, I a while back had made up some green cards. I've been trying to get a place to make me up some cards. And printed to make it be a little more official and more organized structure. A green card that state we are just visitors. And pass that out to some Christian folks to help them understand that this is not our home. We're just trying to do so. Every now and then, just like we pull out our credit cards and all the other cards, we pull out that green card and say, oh, I'm just a stranger traveling through this here land. But in my Father's house, He said there are many mansions. If I had been I did, I would not have told you. You know, so in this concept, I come to recognize and understand that I'm just a portable sanctuary for my God use. And I want Him to continue to use me to be the light while I'm traveling through this here land. Because when I come to the end of my journey, when it's all over, I can hear Him say, son, well done, my good and faithful son. I'm not worried about what my friends might think. You know, at first I used to be that little Christian for the church Sunday, and then that late Monday, really late that Sunday. I ain't gonna say Monday, but right after church, I would go home and turn my music down and turn it to another station once I get with a different group.
That's
Because
right.
once-
That's so. Hold on. Yeah, you do.
That's right.
Yeah, you
I know that's like that.
so they wouldn't have to hear, oh, now they can't know this side of me.
Yeah.
I'm just that ankle deep Christian.
Yeah.
But when you get to know the Lord for yourself
Right now.
and recognize that God is able,
Yeah.
He is.
when you understand
Come on, you say so.
by and by,
Bye,
when the morning comes,
when the morning comes.
what a mighty God we serve.
What a mighty God we serve. Hallelujah.
When I was down,
Uh-huh.
He picked me up.
Yeah.
When my friends gave up on me,
Yeah.
told me I wasn't gonna make it.
Yes, God.
I remember the time, even though I thought I was bad and big enough to do what I wanted to do, it came to the end of my time frame.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mama and daddy did what they needed to do in bringing me up in the way I should go. But because I was a bad boy, I jumped out there off the ship
Yeah.
and did my own thing. But I came to this block that made me fall. I couldn't call my mother,
Come on, Dave.
couldn't call my daddy.
Yeah.
I had my sister and my brother.
Jesus.
They was out there looking for me. But I was so ashamed.
Yes, come on now.
The enemy had tricked my mind.
Jesus.
Told me you ain't gonna make it.
Ah.
I'm so glad I remembered what Mama told me. When everything else fails, remember to call on Jesus. I got on my knees. I said, Lord, here I am. I surrender. I surrender all to you. Everything I have, you need to fix me because I can't fix myself. He turned me around and placed my feet on solid ground. Yeah, I lost some of my friends. I lost this and that. But oh, what a friend we have in Jesus. How many of y'all know that God is able? Won't He make a way for you? I'm so glad. I'm so glad. You know, there's a little skit story I heard. I just want to share it. The little boy got on the plane. I might as well say it again.
Come on now.
And he said, well, I don't know about this plane. The mom and dad are a little scared. The boy and the little girls are scared. So they get on this plane in a way to take this trip. And yet, they heard all about the air pocket. I can recall that because I had the same moment when I was scared to get on the plane. Because I heard so many stories about this and about that. So when they got on this plane, their heart is pumping. Yet, a storm came about. And a little plane started rocking from the left to the right. It hit this little pocket and did a dip. They tell me that there was another boy on the plane. He said, doing what he normally do, just being busy. So the family, the father of the family said, how can you be so busy when we're hitting these storms? When we hit the air pocket, it's thundering. How can you not be scared? He said, well, this is not the first trip that I've been on. My daddy is the pilot of the plane, and he hasn't failed me yet. So I'm here to let you know that Dr. Jesus is the pilot of our plane. Let him change you from the inside out. Truly, he has come and he died on us. He gave his life for us. He got whipped all night long and come in. He spit on me. He did all types of things you can imagine. He threw nails in his feet. Everything that flesh fell from his bones. And then he hung him upon the cross to die for us. And yet, in spite of all the rejections, in spite of everything, he would not come down from that cross because he loved us so much to give his life for us. And then they tell me that they took and they put him in a tomb. And they put the rock in front of the tomb. And they tell me, I just heard, I haven't fully read this yet, but they said that they glued it. And then they put soldiers in front of it. And I can imagine old Satan calling down to down in heaven and say, hey, you got Jesus down there? Yeah, I got him down here. Is he all secure? Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. I got him all sealed up. I can imagine. Y'all got to imagine my I can imagine that he's saying that, oh yeah, I got him down here. He ain't going nowhere. And then a few hours go by, and he calls again and say, hey, everything's still good? And heard him coming back to say, nah, I don't know, something going on. There's some movement and I believe he's coming out. I don't see him. He's gone from here. He has taken some with him. My. Can't no tune. Hold on. Because said, really? One moment. Then he got up with all power in his hand. And I'm here to let you know we have looked to the hills, which cometh out. Yes. Oh, my. You know, this is just amazing. I have did so many things, and you know, in this trial, I'm so grateful that my sisters are with me and friends that continue to encourage me in this time still. But it's nothing like God encouraging me. And it just amazes me continuously to know that in spite of, you know, I sung the song, I heard the song, sung from different things. I stated it and everything else, but I would say the more closer you get to him, the more words and meanings and messages, songs become more fruitful to you. It's like where in general I said this joy that I have, the world won't give it and the world can't take it away. You know, but I always just thought because of that stuff that made me feel like I had joy with the joy. I said, oh, now my wife is gone on home and I miss her so much. And the joy was still there. I said, how is the joy still there? Because my joy was stripped. The joy I thought was joy, because we really don't have much joy. We just have some excitement and happiness. It's God's joys that make us go. At the moment we have something given to us and we think it's joy, the moment somebody take it away, that joy goes away. But when you got God's joy, no matter what you go through, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it. Give to Jesus. The tabernacle that He wants us to be. To go out and teach all nations, baptizing them. How can, once again, we be the light if we are afraid of the dark? Amen. Amen.